Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. It's Scoring the Players Time with Sam Milner and Adam. Sam, just quick reflection. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2. Just very, very quickly, what was your summary of the performance today?
Shite.
That was
you
quick.
Said quick.
I couldn't get a swig of me drink there.
You said brief, short, drab, lackluster, pointless. You could have just not bothered and just given them a 2-0 win, and it would have saved us all an afternoon.
Adam, very briefly, we were expecting better, weren't we?
Yeah, very disappointing. Very, very much Steve Bruce-ish. I think the amount of times we might as well just watch Fulham games, because I think that's all what Steve Bruce is doing. He's just relying on Fulham not to win. He's not really if you think really we're 17th in the table. I know we've got a decent gap over Fulham, but you should still be going to compete and to get as far away from relegation as possible. Make it mathematically safe rather than Fulham just doing it for us. And he wasn't interested in that today. The players didn't have the greatest game either. For me, we had about 4 different formations in that game. It's perfect.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good performance. We have got a quick sponsor break, very, very quickly, from our sponsors, Manscaped. Sam, whenever you're ready.
Support for Newcastle Fans TV is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Big news! Manscaped just released their new cologne scent to help you feel good and smell good all over and at all times. Who knew smelling this good could feel this good too? Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs.
Now, I've always talked about, using cheap razors, and it's not nice, especially when you cut yourself and it stings for a few days, especially if you've got to perform. So this is the product.
Perform what?
Or we all know what you've got to perform. You've got to perform, Sam. We all have to perform, not just footballers. We have to perform as men. So everyone knows that we talk about Manscaped. It is the perfect package 3.0 for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. But they didn't stop there. Oh, no. Complete your grooming game with the new refined cologne signature scent by Manscaped. With the same signature scent that's all in the Manscaped formulas, this cologne is a perfect complement to the collection. Light, approachable, and gentlemanly in all the right ways. Think of it as your wingman for the night to keep you fresh and ready for anything. Calming and inviting, this signature scent introduces a light citrus burst before settling into the anchoring notes of vetiver and a woodsy masculine finish.
Yes, please.
This 50 millimeters spray cologne is even hypoallergenic, cruelty-free, dye-free, paraben-free, and 100% vegan. This beautiful design glass bottle makes a statement, and the manly scent is attractive to set the mood.
Keep your testes their besties with the perfect package 3.0 with all the essentials for your below-the-waist grooming needs. The Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer and crop formulations, ball deodorant, and toner. You can now use the Manscaped Refined Cologne to complete your set and smell great anytime, anywhere. It's time to feel sexy. Lee, do you feel sexy?
Oh, just hearing your voice does.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code NFTV at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code NFTV at manscaped.com. Look good, smell good, feel good with Manscaped.
That's
I kind of take it seriously. I kind of.
No,
mate, you should see next week.
Manscaped. A big thanks to our sponsors, Manscaped and SpiderVPN. But as Sam said, in regards to Manscaped, give your testes the besties. Right,
I should just say before we start, next week's Manscaped ad is the best one yet.
I look forward to that.
Yes, so and I need it. I'm in good need of a laugh after that. Right, Adam, I'll let you start with Martin Dubravka. I think we both said on the watch along, and for people who haven't watched the watch along, I'll thoroughly go back and listen to what me and Adam said and Carl in regards to that first goal. We think he should do a lot better.
Yeah, it's not going to be a high score on the players this week. There's not going to be many positive scores given out, but I'll give him a 4. I do think he could have done a bit better with the first goal. I watched it live. I haven't watched the game back yet, so I haven't seen any analysis of the goal. But just my initial reaction, he could have done a bit better. He saved us hundreds of times over the few years he's been there. He's a great goalkeeper, but he does have that little slip in him where he could do a bit better. Second goal, couldn't have done much about it, really. It's just a frustrating watch for him, really. He's constantly defending his goal. He's never getting a chance to sit back and watch the match and have the pressure taken off him. He's always under pressure, and mistakes will happen. So a 4 for me. Not his best game.
No, definitely not. Sam, let's continue with the right wing back to start with, and then there was right back in the second half, and that was Jacob Murphy. A battle, and it was really quite a good battle in the end. It was quite interesting to watch if you're a neutral between him and Martinelli. I thought Martinelli started off the better, and then Murphy managed to kind of get used to him, if that makes sense. But I think going forward, look, we've Mickey taking the fact that he's crossing, but his crossing wasn't good today, Sam.
No, it was awful. Really disappointing, and it's normally fairly reliable. And I think it could be said from the other flank as well. The newfound width we'd got was just exploited, and it was just like we were back to square one today, and that was the case with a lot of elements on show today. Very lackluster, very poor. I was expecting Murphy to make Martinelli and Xhaka, put them under pressure defensively, under more pressure than what they were defensively. Should have got Xhaka a whole lot more, especially after the booking. I know there was that one kind of challenge that could he have had a second yellow, possibly. But even after that, he's on a final warning after that. Get at him. Xhaka has got a hot streak in him, and he'll see the red mist and give away stupid fouls and stupid bookings. Why weren't we attacking him from that moment on? Why isn't ASM coming across to double up on him to build an attack? Why isn't Sean Longstaff coming across to double up on him and build an attack? But Murphy, for me, I'm giving him straight down the middle 5 because I think there was a lot worse than him out there today, and I think he just about gets away with bearing the brunt of fans' frustrations tonight with what was a terrible performance from start to finish.
Yeah, it wasn't his best performance, but again, we didn't take advantage of Xhaka. Perfectly said, Sam. Just a bit of breaking news. Man United Liverpool has been called off tonight. I'm assuming it probably might go ahead tomorrow, but it's just been literally breaking in the last couple of seconds that the game is now postponed.
You would have thought during all of that Sky may have had like post-match analysis of our game or some post-match interviews.
About 5 minutes.
Just a thought, seeing as though you spend an hour's build-up with, a game that doesn't even go ahead now. You're just showing bigger boys lead protesters out, but I digress.
Yeah, you digress. Right, let's continue. I've got Federico Fernandez. Again, I don't think the defence did great at all, really. I think they struggled with Aubameyang, really, and it was only one of them, which was really, really strange. Got taken off as well. He hasn't signed a new deal. Is this one of the last couple of performances that we're seeing from Federico Fernandez? If so, it has been a great servant. I don't think you'll look back with any fondness on tonight's performance. But there's nothing really good about him today. But I don't think he was the worst centre half on the pitch, which probably tells you itself. I'll probably go 4 out of 10. But again, I don't think any of the defence really played well.
Did you give him a new deal?
Well, the only reason why I'm hesitating to that answer, Sam, is because we've been rumoured to having a bid or going to have a bid for that Celtic defender, Christopher Ayer. And you're looking at about £8 million for him, or possibly even a little bit more. And from what I've seen a day, and I'm not taking it away from Rangers. They won the league and they thoroughly deserve to win the league, and they've done very, very well. But if you don't play Rangers and you don't play Celtic, you're playing the Dog and Duck and the Red Lion every other week, and there's no competition. So I think it's going to take at least a year for him to get used to Premier League football. Can Newcastle actually afford a year to take that gamble? I would probably give Fernandez another deal. I'll give him another year because I don't see us getting other options. And if I is your only other option, I personally wouldn't go for him. But I'll get your comments if you would go for Christopher Ayer. Some people were saying they could watch along with me and Adam and Carl before that he's a really good player. Like, he seems pretty okay on the ball, but you need to be you've got to be a bit different, especially in the Premier League. I just think you need to be a bit more physical. You need to be commanding, and you've got to make sure that when you're playing that you can look after your centre forward, which we didn't do today in Aubameyang. Adam, Kieran Clark again. I don't think the centre half did brilliant at all today.
No, he's very rarely let us down. What I thought he did today in his overall play, I don't think he played very well at all today. Thought he was all over the park at times. He's usually quite aware defensively, and I didn't feel that today. I thought the second goal, he was doing like a move off Strictly Come Dancing at one point. I don't know where he was going, trying to clear the ball or something. He was just all over the place. I'll give him a 3. I thought Fernandez was a bit better than him. Unlike him, it's unlike him. I'm not going to sit here and slate him. He very rarely lets us down. Kieran Clark, he's usually quite reliable. I just thought it was a bad day at the office for everyone today.
Adam, is he letting us down more than often now, though?
I think everyone is. We'll go on when we talk about Bruce. We stole a couple of results really because of a player who couldn't play today being in the right position at the right time. And if it wasn't for them results, it would be. I've said it would be right down there. Fortunate enough not to, but as you mentioned about Fernandez, I think Newcastle United, the squad is going to be one of the biggest jobs next season, because I think it needs a serious clear out. There's a lot of players shouldn't be there, don't want to be there. One got sent off today who doesn't want to be there. There's midfielders who don't want to be there. People talk about the Tottenham squad needing a big clear out. Newcastle's is bigger than that. We need someone to come in and completely gut the squad from top to bottom. There's only a handful of players we'd all keep, and most Newcastle fans would agree with who they are. Has Kieran Clark, Fernandez's time run out with Newcastle? Possibly. We do need some fresh blood in and fresh milk on the place.
Yeah, possibly.
It's his first real stint of poor form. He's been poor the last few games. He's been really poor since Brighton, and during this brilliant run, he's still not been great. It's his first run of real sustained poor form since he's been at Newcastle, but it is a concern, especially now Shar's going to be suspended for the next 3 games. Tit.
We've got 4 games left this season. I think obviously Leicester, Man City, he's going to have a tough couple of nights. Sheffield United, Fulham are going to be easier games on paper, but he needs to read a score of that form pretty quickly. Sam, the best of a bad bunch in Paul Dummett, do you think, in centre half to start with?
I think you were fairly generous. I think you were fairly generous on Fernandez. So, no, I don't think Dummett was the best of a bad bunch. I think it was poor. I think it's his worst game since his recall to the side. I didn't like his performance today, and he's normally captain consistent and really solid and in what is his strongest position. But I thought Bellerin and Willian just had such an easy time against him and Ritchie. I was really disappointed with him. I'm going in between Clark and Fernandez, although I do think the mark for Fernandez is possibly a touch generous. I'm going 3.5. Really poor, and Arsenal's right-hand side made it look all too easy when they really shouldn't be. They're nothing to be scared of. Willian's not the player he was. Bellerin's blows hot and cold, and it was just all too easy. It was really, really disappointing.
Didn't give him a goal, did we?
No, the only thing as I look back on, I felt like Kieran Clark should have done better with the second goal. I know it's Paul Dummett's mark, but by the time it's come across, Kieran Clark is nowhere near it, and Paul Dummett's literally looking where Aubameyang is when he scores as well. I just thought it's just really, really poor by the pair of them, really. But not one will look back with any fondness. No. Matt Ritchie, I thought his crossing was horrific today. I really do. Like the amount of times he had crosses into the box, and Matt Ryan was going, right, thank you very much. It was literally like, when you see the keepers get warmed up and they get crosses and they're just going, they've got no pressure on them whatsoever. It was just literally like that. Defensively, he's playing Martinelli on side with when you look at the replays. I thought it was quite close to being offside, but there wasn't really a VAR check on that.
I thought that was Dummett.
No, it was Ritchie in the end. Ritchie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he kind of ended up in a centre position, Ritchie, but it was his back leg. I think it was his left leg was in an offside. It was keeping Martinelli onside. Again, I don't think it was the worst player on the pitch. I do take on Sam's point with Bellerin. was getting a lot of joy down our left-hand side, but Arsenal's right-hand side. But was that what really cost us the game today? I'm not 100% sure.
It did for the first goal.
Oh, it did. Yes, I completely forgot about the first goal. Yeah, I think that was a combined few mistakes. I'll go 3.5. I'll go 3.5. I just think with Ritchie though, I thought I know we're talking about his crosses being poor, but he was the only one that was thinking about like, can I get in the box? So we've been crying out for that for a long time.
Wasn't getting forward enough for me.
No, he wasn't. Especially when I was looking at the teams, I was thinking, right, we need to have a go with Ritchie and Murphy down the flanks. Cheers, Mickey. Just frustrating. Frustrating is probably one of the words I would use today. Frustrating, disappointing.
I think he'll be out for the Leicester game. I think he'll drop him for the Leicester game.
I don't think he will. I don't think he put Jamal Lewis in for that game. But that's just my personal opinion. I know Adam.
I love Ritchie, and I'm not suggesting he should be dropped, but I am quite curious to see how Jamal Lewis would get on in that role.
We've seen him, haven't we, in that role?
No, because I think this is more advanced than what this is more 3-5-2 than 5-3-2.
I don't think there's much difference from what we saw at the start
more.
of the season. From what we saw at the start of the season when we played 5 at the back or 3 at the back, depending on how you want to look at it, I don't think it was as much difference at all, really. But
I do. Either way, I don't like it.
I know you don't. You've been saying 4-2-3-1 for about feels like about 5 years. I think I was 22 last time you told me that.
Yeah. Where is Lejeune?
Give me back Florian Lejeune.
Yeah.
Dear me. Adam, Sean Longstaff in the middle of midfield. I felt he was the only one that was trying to do something in terms of trying to, get ourselves on the ball and try and go a bit more forward, a bit quickly. I just felt like it was just so slow and stagnated with other midfielders, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, it was. I'll give him a 5, which is probably be my highest mark. But I felt I'm struggling to think of something he really did. It's one of them games. I do think he was trying to maybe spread the play a bit, but I just felt he was maybe carrying the other 2 midfielders today because we were getting nothing from them, and I think you could sense his frustration from that. I'm not going to bash him because he's starting to get some of his form back. He was trying to play them odd forward balls, but I just think I thought he was let down by his other 2 centre midfielders today. I think if maybe Hayden and someone else had been in, we would have seen. He would have maybe. I think Longstaff plays better when he's. The people alongside him are playing well as well. When they don't, he kind of just drifts from the game. But I think he could maybe see he was one who could walk off with his held high a bit.
Do you think, Sam, that we've kind of mentioned it before, but not recently? Do you not think the fact that Longstaff and Shelvey are a bit similar, but just Longstaff's younger, like maybe just a younger version of him, but is actually playing better at the minute?
Well, I think they're both missing Isaac Hayden because that's what Sean's kind of stuck doing, really, was Isaac Hayden's dirty work that he loves to do. Look, we'll come on to John Joe, won't we? And everything in the fan reaction show, the comments were mainly against John Joe. A few against Sean Longstaff as well, but I don't think Sean was the culprit today. He was probably the pick of the central midfielders, which tells you how poor we were. Because Sean didn't play well, but
No.
he was just marginally better than the other pair. One because of his application, and the other because the formation doesn't suit him when he's not on a centre mid.
Yeah, I think we'll have to. This is maybe a big talking point, Sam. John Joe Shelvey, you've spoken about him quite a lot on the fan reaction show. Make sure you watch the fan reaction show. It was Sam and Brandon. They talked all things John Joe Shelvey and Sean Longstaff and Steve Bruce, which obviously their Truls have just said. Ashley Out from CLS. Sam, John Joe Shelvey. We spoke about him a couple of weeks ago, and we said, well, if you drop him, who are you going to put him? Because he doesn't seem to trust anybody else. And he seems to be one of the first names on the team sheet, whether we like it or not. When you look at today's performance, very quiet and very. I thought at times, especially in the first half, when he had the ball, I remember one in the fan reaction, and I kind of went a bit mad at him. It was just inside Arsenal's half in the first half, and he was trying to play a ball on the right hand side. It wasn't like for a professional footballer, it wasn't the hardest ball, but it went straight into the hands of Matt Ryan. And I just thought that's such a waste.
Yeah, he made one good pass all game. And it was a lovely pass. The pass out to Ritchie on the left. It was a proper Shelvey Hollywood pass, and it made me go, oh, like that. But that was it. Everything else,
Like
it
what?
was just, oh, that's a pass, which is what I think I did. Other than that, it was shocking. It was shameful. It was not befitting of a captain of Newcastle United. There was nothing about his game. Normally, his saving grace lately has been his defensive cover, but there wasn't any of that today. It was just a mess. It was kind of revert to format as to what it was before the Brighton game, and it was really disappointing. He's getting a 2 from me. Just because that pass made me do that noise. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, my midfield trio would be, I mean, Willock's got to come straight in for Friday night.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. We saw how much of a miss he was today. Again, I mentioned it in the members video. I do a thing, Sam versus Bruce, hit the join button for more info. I made a point of dropping Almiron, who you'll come on to, because the system doesn't suit him. Obviously, no Willock impact off the bench. Miggy could have been that impact player off the bench because there was nothing to come off the bench, and you're relying on Shelvey to ping these balls around, which weren't hitting their target. I don't know what you do with him. It's an odd one. It's abundant. Well,
that's what you do.
Yeah, but we talked about this in the fan reaction. Who's going to buy him with the wages on?
Oh no, I think people would buy him, Sam. I think there's teams out there would probably take a punt on him because.
What, for 80 grand a week?
I don't know if it'll be that much, but I think you've got to expect at some point in your career to take a slight pay dip, or it's like a dip in pay. You're going to have to. That happens with everybody in life. I think the biggest problem that I spoke about in the watch long, was that if we do get rid of a Shelvey, who's coming in? Because there's no guarantees we're bringing anybody in, really, because of the way the pandemic is. So I don't think Newcastle are in the market for selling a John Joe Shelvey, because when you look at the other options, he doesn't trust Matty Longstaff to Steve Bruce. He doesn't want to play him for some reason.
Doesn't trust him, but got him out of the shit last season when he beat Man United. Yeah, I don't understand with what is going on with that.
He's done nothing wrong.
Today was the perfect opportunity to shove Matty on, or to shove Elliot Anderson on after 60 minutes to kind of change things up, bit of youthful impetus. But there wasn't any of that. It was just revert to format, and subs happening too late, and no energy in midfield. Everything had gone flat, but nothing is done about it. It was just all very bizarre and frustrating, and it seems like we've gone 2 steps back again.
Adam, just a brief yes or no. Would you drop Shelvey for Hendrick and put Hendrick along with Longstaff? As much as we don't like Hendrick, but he could do a Hayden sort of job occasionally.
Absolutely not.
That's how bad that's what I'm saying. But that's how bad it can get.
Yeah. No, I mean, I mentioned to you, Johnny. My concern with Shelvey is, and it's nothing personal against him. He's had some good games, so he's had some bad. But we build the team around him. As Sam said, he's the first name on the team sheet, and it doesn't work. And when you build your team around lazy players who are meant to be a luxury, he doesn't win us games anymore. As Sam says, he only picks the odd pass out now. It's not like he picks pass after pass. He doesn't anymore. He doesn't offer enough for me. And we build the team around him. And there's lads not getting a chance because of him. Elliot Anderson, Matty Longstaff, who we're not seeing enough of. And the longer we keep Shelvey, there's just players just aren't going to get a chance because he's in there week in, week out, and he doesn't win us games anymore. And his attitude's very questionable, as you say. He's not the captain I'd choose. So it's no personal against him. I just feel it's time for him to move on. But it's not just him. There's a lot of players need to move on from the club.
I think if you're going to stick to this same formation on Friday night, I'd love to see the 2 Longstaffs in there with Willock.
Yeah, so would I, but it's never going to happen, is it? Under the manager we've got. Never going to happen. Miggy Almiron, I said at the start of the watch long, big opportunity for Miggy Almiron because there's pressure on him now. If Joe Willock wasn't ineligible to take on his parent club, he would have started today, 100%. And Miggy probably would have been the one that had been sacrificed because I don't think he's dropping Shelvey or Longstaff anytime soon. I just thought he was really, really anonymous going forward. and just didn't offer us anything. And I think he was hooked probably 20, 25 minutes after more than he probably should have been. I think he was that poor today. He's meant to be our creative spark, and today he just wasn't. And he's out of form. He's out of form massively. Willock has to come in next Friday. Has to come in. He's got the confidence that Miggy hasn't got. He's got the momentum that Miggy hasn't got. Defensively, he obviously gets a yellow card. There's an argument because of the referee, who the referee was. He could have gotten a second yellow card. I don't think it was a second yellow card, but because of Mike Dean, you never know. You never know with him.
If Xhaka ain't getting that second yellow, then Miggy's.
Exactly. Xhaka's is more of a second yellow than Miggy's, in my opinion. I'm sure that's what a lot of Newcastle fans would have thought. What do you give him? Was he as bad as Shelvey?
I think he was getting on for that. He was getting in the way.
He was. That's the really worrying thing. That's the really worrying thing. He was getting in the way. I don't think he was as bad as Shelvey. I'll go 2.5. But he needs to break out the team. Put Willock in against Leicester. See how he gets on. Man City, it's going to be tough regardless whoever you play, Miggy or Willock. So it's for me, one of them two. I've got to take the performances into that Sheffield United game, because that could be a massive game now, depending on how Fulham get on. I don't expect it to be that big, because I think Fulham won't get 6 points from the next two games, just because I just don't see it happening. But if they, on the off chance they do, and Newcastle don't get anything from Leicester and Manchester City, which we kind of all expect that we don't, then that Sheffield United game is going to be huge, and we need our best players in form for that game. But only 2.5 for Miggy today. ASM, Adam. I thought Arsenal did a job on him.
Yeah, I don't think we helped him. Didn't get him on the ball enough. For me, in this system, him or Miggy one of them has to be on the bench in this system. Because they're both in that number 10 role. And again, after 70 minutes, he wasn't really in the game. Then you could have probably brought Miggy on to try and freshen it up. But he was trying, but he needs to maybe start stepping up against these big clubs as well. It's not all on us not getting into the game. He has to control the game a bit better. It's all right doing it against the West Hams and that, and these are the big games, the Arsenals. He needs to step up and maybe just give a bit more. I'll give him a 4, because I don't think he was just out the game today for me. It wasn't his type of game, but at times he didn't look like he wanted to be in the game either. So it goes both ways really. But again, he's got a Leicester big game coming up. He's got to kind of put his name, get his name out there, and hit the form we know he can, because it's the inconsistency that frustrates us.
Yeah, 100%. But
he was having to come so deep as well to get the ball. He should have been playing 30 yards further up the pitch than what he was. That was the frustrating thing. The front two worked to help today, but I agree with the points Adam made.
I just feel like though he's had to do that last few games, and just today just didn't really work out for him. But I feel like he's had to drop deep a lot of games for Newcastle. I say that probably the only game he didn't have to do that, mainly because he didn't have to. It would have to because Burnley just stepped off him, and he was allowed to pick up the ball and do what he wanted. But yeah, it's frustrating.
It's frustrating because we're starting to feel like a one-man team. We're starting to feel like if ASN doesn't play, then we don't play, and that's kind of Steve Bruce's like golden ticket. He's come back in and he's getting Steve Bruce out of the shit a bit, really. But when he doesn't turn up, the rest of the team don't really turn up, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, smash that like button if you can. Obviously, that's probably the only good thing that wouldn't come out of 2-0 defeat against Arsenal today. Callum Wilson just got the start over Joelinton, Sam. He had one header in the first half and from a corner. Second half, didn't really do anything. I felt he was very frustrated for the majority of the game today, and
he weren't the only one.
No, he wasn't the only one, but just nothing seemed to come off for him.
No, it didn't. Bit of an anticlimax, really, wasn't it? We've been waiting for him to be back in the starting lineup for so long. It's happened and left him isolated up front. No man around him. Nothing to feed off. Nothing at all. There was one really frustrating moment where, like, Miggy ran into space on the left-hand side where no one was at instead of playing through Wilson. I mean, Arsenal's centre-backs aren't the best in the world, are they? And Gabriel was going down like a sack of shit today. at every opportunity, which was also a big frustration for Callum Wilson. Think of Arsenal centre-backs of old, your Bold, Adams, Keown, Campbell. They wouldn't have been going down half as softly as Gabriel was today. But Wilson, you can't really rate him highly because nothing came off for him. He didn't do anything. There was no opportunity for him to do anything. I'll probably go along the lines of the same as ASM, to be honest. But it's not really his fault.
Would you be saying the same thing if it was Joelinton, Sam?
Yeah.
Just because I think like if that was a Joelinton doing what Callum Wilson done today, I think we would have been slagging him off so much.
You would have been because you hate him.
No, but I think everybody would have done, Sam. Everybody would have done.
No, I try not to think like that when I'm giving grades. I mean, I don't know really. I thought Joelinton was actually okay when he came on, but again, there was not really much opportunity to do things. He'd be probably feeling a bit hard done by to be being out of the team, but do Wilson and ASM work well together in that system? Are you getting your best out of your big three hitters there, Miggy, ASM and Wilson in that system? I'm not so sure, but you all know my feelings about systems and formation, so I'm not going to beat the drum about it again.
Yes, we've only got till another 15 minutes, so we haven't got long. First substitution, Fabian Schar came out of the wilderness. He's been out for about nearly 3 months since that injury against Southampton. Played the under-23 game in the week and then was on the bench for Newcastle. I was surprised he was brought on, I have to be honest. I didn't think there was a need for a defender to come on. Me and Adam kind of disagreed. Look, he's gone through the back of him. I think that's why. And plus the studs were showing. I can understand. At the time, I just thought I've seen worse given for a red card, but I can understand why he's done it. I can understand why Magdine's given the red card. Very idiotic. Very idiotic. Take away the fact whether people think it's a red card or not. It's idiotic. We need all the players at this very late stage of the season. Look, I think Newcastle would still be expected to stay up just because I think Fulham have run out of games. But if there's enough chance that Fulham do get themselves back into it, or West Brom do get themselves back into it, then you're in a massive pickle because he's out for the next 3 and he's back for the Fulham game. On what I've seen today and that individual performance, I'm giving him a 1 out of 10 today for the red card, and that's what people are going to remember. Is that going to be his final game for Newcastle? I probably think it will be. I think it will be. Yeah. I don't think he'll play another game this season. Pardon?
I don't think it'll be his last game.
Why not?
Well, he's got another year on his contract.
I thought he was out of contract this year.
No, there was an option to extend, and I think that's being exercised. Obviously, the club haven't communicated, and I think it's the same situation with Jacob Murphy as well. But again, these things don't get communicated, so it's not 100%. I kind of went through varying degrees of emotions with Schar today because I was chuffed to see him back because of how poor that 3 were playing and how poor Clark's been in particular lately. So I thought, Schar, Dummett and Fernandez, that's a good back 3. And then when he's done that, and we've seen it before from him as well, it's just absolutely cretinous. You think, what a tit. Totally unnecessary challenge. Completely unnecessary challenge. So now he's going to be missing the next 3 games. Yeah,
obviously, while it hasn't been confirmed, I will say it is probably going to be his last game, just until it's been confirmed, but who knows. Not good. Joelinton, Adam, when he came on, he started out on the right, which I'm a bit surprised about, but I would like to have seen a bit closer at Wilson, which never really happened. But he was just like the rest. Really. He wasn't anything special, was he?
No, I mean, you look at your bench, and when you're bringing subs on, you want your opposition to look over and fear and go, "Oh no, he's coming on, he's going to change the game." And bashing Joelinton, he's not that type of player. I don't really remember much he did. Sam said he didn't do too badly when he came. I don't really remember much. Too like I don't really remember much he did. I remember him. Yeah, there's not really much to say about him. He's. I said he maybe he's a bit harsh. He's on the bench in his head, but you start Callum Wilson every day ahead of him. again, he's another one I'd sell in the summer. Big wave I'm needing. I'd take 5 million from now if we could.
I think you could get more than 5 mil from him. I think you could get 10 mil, but I'd take 10 million from him. I said this last summer. I'd take 10 million from him, and that hasn't really changed.
What mark are you giving him?
At 2.
Fucking hell, that's harsh.
It might be. But I don't remember him doing much, so
he was worse than Almiron. As bad as Shelvey.
Yeah, he didn't do much. I say you come in as a sub, you meant to impact the game, and I don't remember any impact he did. So
he's not an impact player. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're giving him that. Dwight Gale was only on for a couple of minutes, so non-applicable.
Stupid.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if he has signed that 3-year contract. Who knows?
I wouldn't have even been offering him one, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't think. I hope he hasn't, to be honest. But I think the club probably will give him a 3-year deal because with COVID,
you don't want to buy anyone else.
Exactly. Right. So let's have a think. Steve Bruce. I'm just going to shut this door. There we go. Just so don't get the cat coming in, basically. Because I can hear her. Steve Bruce. Right. Sam, I'll let you start with him. The team itself was probably the right team, in my opinion, because we didn't have Willock. Just thought the changes weren't great. What was your...
That's the issue. I can imagine most people were pretty pleased when that lineup came out, seeing Wilson back in for Joelinton. So I wasn't displeased with it. It was an anticlimax. The attitude of the team was really disappointing, very lazy. I wonder now, after they got that point at Anfield and that win against West Ham, that they think job done. Possibly. I hope not, because it ain't job done yet until it's mathematically clear. The disappointing thing is with Bruce that you could see we were stagnating from bloody hell. We had a 10-minute period in the first half where we did okay, between 15 and 25 minutes. That was it. The whole game. I'd have made changes at half time. Miggy would have been off. Shelvey would have been off. But to not make a change till 70 minutes and then to bring Dwight Gale on for this customary appearance fee role that he's now introduced, it's all a bit embarrassing. And it's again, like we seem to be making progress, and then it's just 2 steps back again and again. Really poor, no ideas, no plan B. He's used how many formations this season? None of whom are the right one. But scoring-wise, to kind of make the opposite argument, the players do have to take a look at themselves today, because there was a lot of poor performances out there. A lot. The defence were poor. Centre of midfield was poor. Down the left, our left was poor. And ASM and Wilson haven't really gelled together, but that'll come in time. Both still reasonably just back from injury. Scoring wise from Bruce, I think a 3 or a 4 is fair.
Right, so you're going to need a 3.5 just to be.
I'll see what you say, and I'll let you make your cases, and then.
Okay, Adam, we talked about. We kind of all know your stance on this, Adam. You're very firmly Bruce out and have been for a long, long time. I think you're one of the first ones on the channel to say that you were Bruce out. What was more frustrating from Steve Bruce today? Was it just the fact that the changes were just so late in the day?
Well, look. There's no shame in being beaten off Arsenal. You know, it doesn't matter. We've been beaten off Arsenal plenty of times over the years. It again comes down to the manner of it, which we've seen time after time after time. Yes, we've been in an okay form, but let's not forget that West Ham game. We were absolutely dreadful that second half, and it was only from a bit of class from Joe Willock that got us the result. And Liverpool, yes, we stuck in, but we got a point in the end. We haven't been great. Like, yes, we've got the odd result, but we've still been playing dreadful football. And it always comes back down to one man. Every discussion, every fan reaction we do, every score on the players, it always comes back to him, and it always will. Yes, it looks like we're probably going to stay up. in the next week or so. But this time next year, we'll still be in the same position under this man, unless Mike Ashley has an epiphany and decides he wants to take the club in a new direction. Today, I agree. He's probably put out the right team. You know, Wilson had to come in for Joelinton, so he'll get credit for that. But then we're all over the place. I don't know what he does in training during the week. I don't know. Arsenal only played 3 days ago. They ran the socks off. You know, they've got another. You as a manager, you should be targeting that. You should be targeting the weakness and the tiredness, pressing them, closing them down, and just letting Arsenal have the ball. They're clearly going to win the game, and they did. They just picked us off, and it was awful. The subs were absolutely terrible. Bringing the centre half on to try and change the shape, who he doesn't want to be here, and then, you know, Dwight Gale coming on and Sam says, "What's the point?" I just feel like he's laughing at us. Like he's safe now. He just sits and watches whoever Fulham are playing and hopes they win to save his job. I'll give him a 2 out of 10. I'm sick of him.
I can't disagree with what you said there, Adam. I really can't disagree with what you said. My take on Steve Bruce, my mark would have been 3. So I think you were going 3 or 4, weren't you, Sam? Don't know where you went. I'll let you decide. So 3 out of 10. Yeah, there's not much I can really add to that. The only thing I will say is that he does, when he tried to change at half time, he tried to change the formation where I think the personnel needed changing. And when you look at a midfield 4 of Miguel Almiron as a free role in the centre of midfield, just with John Joe Shelvey for at least the first 20 minutes, with Sean Longstaff being put on the right-hand side, which we know that's not his position. I don't. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. You want to put players in the right positions. The reason why I've given him 1 point more than what you have, Adam, is that he's tried to change something, but he just hasn't done it the right way. It wasn't helped. I think Dubravka needs to do better for that first goal. I think Ritchie was picked off quite easily by Bell, just maybe through his pace. But I don't know. I thought changes need to be made quicker. And why not bring a Matty Longstaff on? Why not bring an Elliot Anderson on? Why persist with a Dwight Gale with 5 minutes to go? I just found it really, really strange.
The subs are predictable. They're predictable every game. Johnny, we sat in the watch along after 5 minutes. Joelinton will be the first sub on.
Oh, we knew that.
We just know what's going to happen. And then Dwight Gale coming off for what? There's young lads there dying to play for the club. I'm not saying Dwight Gale's not dying to play for the club, but he's had chance after chance. He doesn't take them. Get a young lad on to run around the pitch for a bit. And I don't think the fans would appreciate it a bit more. Like, it's just so frustrating. Like, I tell you, hopefully Fulham don't go and beat Burnley or Southampton next week, because we're staying up because they've been that bad.
Yeah, that's. You look at that, and that just tells it itself. It's just so frustrating that we're focusing on other teams losing games. I know it's only one game in terms of today, but the whole big picture is that we're just getting away with it. We have just got away with it this season, probably, and we've got no confidence in our manager that he'll bring in the right players this summer, because he brought the right players in last summer, and look what's happened to us. Disappointing. 3 out of 10.
Our one saving grace is that Burnley still need a win to kind of put themselves properly safe.
If they get a win tomorrow night against West Ham, they'll be like, oh well, Burnley, Fulham will be out. They're going to have to win all 4 games. Is that going to happen when they won 5 all season? Probably not. I know we're going to have to wrap things up because I know Lee's ready for the last word, which I'm sure you're going to. With 40, there you go. You get all the big guests on Newcastle Fans TV. But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV. Make sure you get your comments in. Do you agree with our ratings? Do you agree with Adam and Sam's ratings on certain players? Do you disagree with mine? Tell me why. And then we've got Leicester next Friday, so make sure you get all the videos. Watch all the videos next Friday, because Leicester is going to be a difficult watch as well, I think. Not to be a spoiler alert to say with that one. But my thanks to Sam, my thanks to Adam on what has been probably a disappointing afternoon. Even though it is my birthday. I've only mentioned it a couple of times today. But yeah.
And to play us out, Adam with happy birthday, Jonny.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You got no chance. Put Brandon on the show if you want that stuff.
Hey, get him a few drinks in his hands. We've heard him singing on WhatsApp. So we'll get him a few drinks first. Yeah, but for myself, Sam and Adam, we'll see you all very, very soon.